This is Talk 650, powered by CBS Radio.
Also in studio with us is Jan van Willigen with Worley Parsons, who is going to be one of the speakers on the bill talking about the sustainability of the oil and gas picture as we see it right now. And we've been learning a little bit about Worley Parsons, which is an Australian-based company, and you said something really interesting during the break. That's why I love having people in the studio, that there is something in the mission statement that you found quite surprising. Could you share that with us?
Certainly. Being a company of over 30,000 people, I found it just fascinating to read in the mission statement to minimize bureaucracy. And that
really?
Yeah. And that truly is part of the entrepreneurial spirit that I think comes from the Australian culture.
Uh-huh.
If you think about Australia, recognizing it's a continent, but you could also say it's an island. Mm-hmm. And that country has developed because of having to go out in the world and work with other countries, export and import ore, wool as a starting point, and then certainly now oil and natural gas. And as a consequence, I think they're a very adaptable company with other cultures. And so they've been able to acquire a U.S. company like Parsons, mm-hmm. a company in Canada like Colt, companies in South Africa and in Brazil, and been able to work with those other cultures to make a homogeneous, uniform team to pursue oil and gas business. And it's the people that make that environment.
I like that. We Americans like to pride ourselves on thinking that we're the melting pot of the world. In reality, there are two, and the other one's Australia, because they've been able to assimilate so many different cultures over their history as well.
Right.
And that's showing up in that way. You are working with the company, of course, in trying to figure out how this oil thing is going to play out. We talked about the 30-year window. Let's talk about the rates of consumption real quick, because I know that you're going to be covering this in your presentation on the 11th in the Energy Summit. And we're in a kind of an interesting dilemma now, where the United States consumption, if it's tapered, it's only just been a little bit. But we're competing with other parts of the world where the consumption continues to go up. How long is that going to be the case?
Well, the United States production sits around 10 million barrels a day.
Okay.
But our actual consumption is close to 20 million barrels a day.
Yeah, that math doesn't work out too good.
So more than 50% of our oil is imported. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why you read things like what Boone Pickens has put out, mm-hmm. saying that maybe unconventional gas is the right answer.
Yeah.
And that's where I was talking about earlier, that perhaps the transportation fuels that we're looking at, there may be a conversion more to not only hybrids and electric, but maybe even compressed natural gas as one of the possible ways of reducing our dependency on foreign oil.
The oil reserves in this country, we're using 10, we need 20, or we have 10, we need 20. Do we have the potential to produce enough to make that up, or are we going to be forever doomed to pull it from elsewhere?
I think we're looking for energy security. We're looking at some very challenging areas to develop. The Arctic regions of the world, the Beaufort Sea, for example, are areas that our country would like to explore more. I mean, there's if you read some of the information in the IEA, it indicates there could be 27 billion barrels of oil in the Beaufort. So there is potential out there. I think that's not going to be the only answer. With the advent of this unconventional gas that's available now, mm-hmm. that there's an ability there to meet our energy needs for what is published as 100 years.